and welcome to the Story Pilgrim, episode 40. Sao Paulo. Persistent patience. There's something about this city that invites reflection. It's a place where energy and stillness collide, where history meets the present in a way that still feels alive. As I walked through Sao Paulo, I found myself thinking about the difference and the balance between persistence and patience. How we push forward even when the way ahead feels unclear, and how we learn to wait without losing hope. Now, this episode comes just after I have sent out my 45th monthly newsletter. As I reflect on that milestone, I'm reminded that persistence isn't always glamorous. It's not about the big breakthroughs, it's about the quiet, steady acts of showing up, even when no one's watching or listening. Now, as we dive into Sao Paulo together, I invite you to think about where persistence and patience show up in your life. And if this episode does resonate with you, then please consider sharing it. Now we're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, and think about leaving a review. It really does go a long way. Thank you. Every small act of support helps to keep the journey alive. Now, let's begin. Hello! Oh, a bit croaky this morning. From croaky in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I am very excited to be here. Another place I never dreamt that I would come to. The fourth largest city in the world. I was in Delhi just before Christmas. That's the second largest city in the world. This is the largest Portuguese speaking city in the world. 22 million people live here. Founded in 1554. Got to figure out what the laws are, the rules are. We're walking across these pedestrian streets. Founded in 1554. So 471 years old. It's a very culturally rich, culturally diverse city. I feel a little bit out of my element in that my Portuguese is really bad, so I don't really know much Portuguese. Just the obrigado and bom dia. What else is there to say? I think there's over something like 500 helicopter flights a day here, because of it being a financial and institutional place for CEOs and stuff. It's much easier. There's over 700 helipads here. Easier for them to fly around. I say that, I don't see a helicopter in the sky anywhere, but there you go. It has over 6,000 pizzerias here. I'm going to cross over the road because there's some scaffolding coming up here. And that results in 1 million pizzas being made a day. That means that during this time, over 1,400 pizzas have been made while I've been recording this little bit. 720 pizzas an hour. It's really, really cool. So I'm just going to go for a wander round and see what we can find. So the city is nicknamed the City of Drizzle, as for its unpredictability when it comes to rain. October is supposed to be like the best time of year to come, with good average temperatures around 25 degrees and nice sunny days. Just to set a little bit inside from the coastline, so a couple of hours drive to get to the beach, or you can fly inland and go and see some wonderful waterfalls and mountainous areas. So yeah. Over 30 years ago, I was lucky enough to circumnavigate South America when I was working on the cruise ships. Being back in Brazil stirred up so many of those memories from that trip, but also thoughts on how far I've come. Not literally, but as a person. I'm on the corner of Brazil and Colombia, that two roads. The roads in this area seem to be named after South American countries. But there's this beautiful church here, the Nossa Senhora do Brasil. I'm going to go inside. I'm not allowed to do any filming inside, but I'll go in and have a look. And out the front there, I don't know if you can see, there it says Peregrinos de Esperança. Peregrinos is pilgrims of Esperança. So a beautiful church here, a beautiful area here. It's very green, and across the road there's a Kia dealership and a Nissan dealership behind the trees there. But it's beautiful. So out of respect, I'm not going to talk much, but I'm going to take you inside this stunning church. Built in 1956. Come with me down the side here. It's got all these beautiful blue and white tiles, as you can see. Baptismal font. And then there's this little side chapel I'm going to come into. It feels like you've walked into like a Tudor home. And then we can walk down the front and come back up to have a closer look at the altar. Beautiful. So I have come down to the Monument de Bandeiras. We'll talk about that in a second, but as you can see, it is in the middle of a roundabout, and Sao Paulo is well known for its traffic. This is where Ayrton Senna is from, the famous Formula One driver who was famously died in a race, a crash. There we go, there's a helicopter we talked about before. Can we see it? Where is it? There it is. There he goes. There's one of the. I got it wrong. I think I said 500 helipads. It's 200 helipads, 500 helicopters, 700 helicopter flights a day. With these, it's just quicker to get around the city. So here's the monument to the Bandeiras, and in the middle of this massive big roundabout. It's a granite structure. It was commissioned in 1921 and it was finished in 1954. It's massive, it's huge. It's commemorating the Bandeiras who settled Brazil in the 17th century. Controversial because they were known for not doing nice things to the indigenous people, as most settlers did back in those days. I've got to use my hands here to get everything looking right. So apparently it's well known for protests. There was a couple of police cars here. They've run away when they saw me coming. So yeah, it's like I say, it's known for having red paint thrown on it to try and stain it. Some people now are saying that it should not be here, but it is still here. So yeah, it was an Italian-Brazilian sculptor, Victor Barracaret. I'm saying that, I'm murdering that, but that's who is responsible for this. 1921 and finished in 1954. Across the road over there's a park, the Park de Iberian Polegda. Again, I'm murdering that. I'm really bad. Oh, look, nice pretty lights. So I'm going to go for a wander into the park and get away from this traffic. Statues like the Monumento às Bandeiras stand as markers of history. But history, I'm afraid, isn't neutral. It's layered, contested, and alive. Leaving them untouched can feel like a glorification, but removing them risks erasure. The real challenge is how we engage with them, whether through plaques, counter monuments, or artistic interventions. That challenge their original meaning, that can spark conversation. If a monument actively distorts history or reinforces oppression, perhaps it's a place that isn't on a roundabout, but maybe in a museum where it can be framed or context rather than reverenced. So I'm going to try and attempt to say the name of this park, the Ibirapuera Parque. I'm just at the north end of it at the moment. There's this lovely big lake. I think there's another lake going off into the further direction that I'm going to go and have a look at. Some lovely flowers there in the trees. There's purple flowers. And as I travel around, you see Sao Paulo there in the background. As I travel around, it continues to amaze me at how alike we are when it comes to desires, things that we want in the world, in the life that we have, and how, like spaces like this is such a common thing where we go. Nice big parks with beautiful trees, and it's kind of rainforesty. Well, it is. I'm in Brazil, and so I was thinking more today, and tying into the newsletter and blogs that I've been putting out there. I want to talk just not much, but just sort of ponder on patience and persistence. I am finding myself at the moment in a time when my acting career is kind of like, it feels like it's kind of stopped. It hasn't, but it kind of feels like it has. And there we go, helicopter up above, and I have to be persistently pursuing that, but at the same time, I have to have patience. Otherwise, I'm just going to get fed up and very bitter and angry about the fact that it's not going the way that I want it to go, and the fact that it is many, many other things that come into play rather than just my desires and what I can do. I can do my bit, but I've also got to be patient with other people. I've got to be patient with the industry, the state that it's in. There is so much that I have to do, but I also have to be persistent in pursuing that and getting all of that right. So I may touch on that as we're wandering around, but let's go and have a look at this lovely park. Bit of peace and tranquility in the hub of the fourth largest city in the world. Now, with my job at the Brighton Pavilion, we go into the music room, which was George IV's favourite room, and at either end they are sort of like bookended with these like sways of giant fake bamboo, and they're massive. They're like really big pieces of bamboo, and I always say, yeah, that it's fake bamboo. It's made out of English beech, as most of the bamboo in that is. But you would never find bamboo that big, would you? Like the size of trees that are absolutely massive. Look at that! Look at it, it's huge! There's two of them. Like, this little avenue here is covered with fig trees, Indian fig trees, and then these bamboo shoots which do go up about 50 feet. And they're massive. And that's exactly what you see. Oh, God, fly in my ear. Get out! Oh, out, it's right in my ear. Yeah, look at them. They're absolutely massive. So I will no longer say that you would never see bamboo like that, because you do, and I'm sure it's not just unique to this park, but very impressive. And then there's these trees here, and if I zoom in, he says, if you can see, all the branches are covered in these like leaves that seem to come straight out of the branches, but they are from the vines, and it creates this really weird, cool effect on the trees. But a beautiful park here. And walk down towards by the water. There's some black swans. There's quite a few black swans out there, actually. There's 4 right there, 5 I can see. Then some beautiful white herons. Yeah, there's a lot of black swans. And then these cormorants, ducks. Nice little mix, and all these beautiful yellow flowers. Stunning. I still can't get over that bamboo. It was massive. The park was offering up some lovely treats. It's absolutely delightful when you come across somebody doing that. Busking. Obviously talented, worked hard in his profession to be able to play the violin. And here he is in a park, busking. I've taken a picture of his QR code, and I will give him a little donation later when I get to some Wi-Fi. But again, that's tying into the patience and persistence, isn't it? That I'm kind of thinking about, you know. He is doing his way. He's finding his way of making it through this life. Patiently, persistently. That is my thoughts on what I see. He may be thinking of it very, very differently. Who knows? But it fascinates me, as you know, you travel the world and you meet all these people very fleetingly, as to get a little tiny insight into their life and how patient that they are, or how persistent they are in their lives, or not. And you know, you take it in and you learn about it, and you grow. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's always about growth, and a little bit of what we're talking about, motivation, in previous episode. It's all about the movement, and I think that's key for all of it. It's about keep moving. That's the most important thing. Once we stop, that's when troubles do start. Don't know if you can tell from the video, but there are some very big carp in there. You should be able to see that, hopefully. Just lazily swimming around. There they are on this side too. It's not super clean, but well worth a little visit to this lovely park. Not quite sure what that area is. Looks like a sculpted park, but it also looks like just kind of left things lying around. Movement is key to me. I do find it hard to stop, to fully stop. I know I have to every now and then, and I need my me time, my downtime, but overall I feel I just have to keep moving. Now, is that the fear of being left behind, the worry that I'm going to miss an opportunity? Well, it's all of that and some more. As I'm wandering around Sao Paulo, I'm impressed with the amount of space that there is. It's not like an American city where everything seems on top of each other. This seems to either have just sprawled and grown and grown and grown, but it just seems really well laid out. Well, maybe not so much laid out. There just seems to be plenty of space, and then you just see buildings which are completely empty. There's like not like just empty space, just lots of different little places. So yeah, it really impresses me, like the difference with like the houses here, and then you've got the high rises a little bit further down. But all the use of the trees and the flowers, they're not afraid of that. It's what Brazil is, isn't it? I remember years ago when I studied my A-level geography and we were looking at the rainforest and stuff, I always wanted to go and visit. Look, there I am. Can you see me in the mirror? I wanted to go and visit the equator and the rainforest, and when I was 19, 20, I was on a cruise ship that we sailed up the Amazon to Manaus, and I got to stand on the equator, 1 foot in the northern hemisphere, 1 foot in the southern hemisphere, and I was delighted by that. But look, there's a lot of these parking spaces on the outside where it's just goes to a big parking space. It's really, it was really interesting coming here as well, because we have a security app for my job, and they say it's green, amber or red, and Sao Paulo, Brazil is red. So basically saying just be really careful when you go out. And yeah, of course, you've got to have your wits about you when you go out, and hopefully nothing will bad happen. But from what I'm discovering, it's a very lovely city. Look, Lexus. There's a Lexus dealer right here, But it's the same as anywhere, isn't it? You can find that. I can find that anywhere. I can go to any major city. Of course, I'm going to find that. You've got the haves and the have-nots, as always. But yeah, the space is really, really intriguing. This guy's just hit the bus. The taxi driver, the bus driver's going to have to get off and deal with the fact he's just driven into him. There he goes, go and investigate. I didn't get it on. I got the noise, but didn't get the actual hit on tape there. Ooh. So I am having some lunch, and I've got myself a burrito. More like a
more like a rugby ball. I think it's just going to fall apart. How are you supposed to eat these things? It's massive. Barbacoa. I'm going in. Oh, I can't pick it up. Yeah, that's really good. Didn't want it to be too spicy. Look at the mesh. What I learn when you get things like this, as you're biting in, it's always good to suck a little bit. It gets the juices in. And then I've got this lemonade. H2, oh, it's really nice. So yeah, tuck in and have some lunch. The sun's out as well. It's lovely out.
May not be able to see, but I am experiencing the nickname of this city at the moment. It is drizzling. So it just, there's blue sky up there, but it is drizzling. So I can absolutely vouch for, it is the drizzle. This little girl is catching it on her tongue, as we walk along. Absolutely get the drizzle. I love that, when you find out that a place has a nickname or there's a certain thing, in this case drizzle, and then you experience it. That little moment of, oh, now I know, and you can pass that on. A lived experience is so much more memorable than a learnt one, sitting down and learning it. Now, I was loving my time in Sao Paulo. It was a journey of learning for me. As I wander around the streets of Sao Paulo, I'm thinking back to one of the quotes that I've stuck in my newsletter this month by Mark Twain, and it goes something like, courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not the abolition of fear. It's recognizing that it's there. And as I wander around a city like this, here I am on Paulina Street, which is one of the main streets in Sao Paulo. You realize how insignificant you are when it comes to life. You look at all of this that's going on around you, and you kind of realize that you do matter in your own way, but you kind of don't. So just being a part of all of this, and then realizing that you can overcome all of that, sort of helps me in a way to with the persistence that I'm talking about with regards to carrying on and doing. There's all these people that I'm walking past, they don't care who I am, they don't worry about this, they're worried about their own things, but recognizing that fear is there is quite a big thing, really. That it helps us grow. I always say that adversity is there to help us grow. You always get a diamond from coal being put under a lot of pressure, and as that pressure intensifies on the coal, it turns into a diamond. And I kind of look at life like that. So I've come in from Paulina into this little shopping mall, get a bit of refreshment out of the nice warm air. One thing that I didn't know about Brazil, and I didn't know about Havaianas, is that this is where they're from, and apparently they are much more cheaper here than they are back at home. They're about half price, so people buy them here and take them home and sell them to their friends or whoever. I won't be doing that, but little thing there.
as I've wandered around Sao Paulo thinking about patience and persistence, this city really is kind of like, it really doesn't stop. It's constantly moving wherever I am, but it also has found the places where you can pause for a moment and reflect. And that's pretty much what, the Story Pilgrim is all about finding those moments of reflection, finding those connections that you might make through the experiences that you have in your life, and making some sort of sense out of it. So I would encourage you to sort of think about, where are you planting those seeds for your future? Where are those moments of reflection? Where are those moments of movement? And are you just driving around in a circle, or are you going up and down one way? What is all of that? Really, really interesting thoughts, and really enjoyed this time of walking around this city, which I honestly was a little bit apprehensive about again, because of the language barrier, the cultural barrier, the expectations that were thrown upon me by my company with regards to what the security issues are here, which are absolutely valid, but also, it's the same as anything really. You can have a bad time wandering around London as much as you can wandering around Sao Paulo. So I'm just back in my hotel room, and I just ordered some ice. Yeah. Besides that, it's bigger than my head. How much ice do you want? Look at that. I've got loads of it. That's the chair, by the way. It's not me. As I sit here with everything that Sao Paulo gave me, its rhythms, its contradictions, its lessons, I keep returning to Mark Twain's words. Courage is resistance. I can do another American accent. Let's try Southern. Let's try like Forrest Gump. Courage is a resistance. No, it sounds awful. Courage is resistance to fear. Mastery of fear, not absence of fear. Courage, like persistence, isn't about boldness, not baldness, boldness. It's about continuing, even when fear whispers doubts into your mind. It's about taking one more step when the road ahead feels shrouded in uncertainty. What Sao Paulo taught me is that patience isn't passive. It's where growth quietly happens. And persistence, it's the daily choice to trust in the work, even when results aren't visible. The path isn't always clear, but every small action builds towards something greater. Now, as I close out this episode, I want to leave you with a question. Where in your life are you practicing courage, persistence, or patience? If this episode spoke to you, I'd love for you to share it, leave a review, and most of all, subscribe on YouTube. Please hit that button. Wonderful. Your support is what keeps this journey moving forward. Thank you for watching me today. The Story Pilgrim was written, walked, talked, recorded, edited, produced and directed by me, Darren Hill. Anya Backer played the original music on Sean the Harp. For more about the Story Pilgrim, visit thestorypilgrim.com. There's lots of things on there. I've got a blog. Read it. And you can find us on all the socials. Until the next time, keep listening and buen camino.